In this video, we'll discuss what to look for on the face in relation to the decline of a person's life force. Enjoy. In today's video, we're going to talk about the signs on the face that are indicative of low life force. So when we talk about this in the larger context of face reading and in the Eastern lens, the general working idea is that we have life force coursing through us at all times. You can call it bioelectricity, you can call it a lot of things, but in the end, the way the East thinks about it is the vibration or the energetic matrix of your soul animates the flesh, and as such, that frequency, that vibration can be higher or lower, and moreover, you can see it in the face. So we're going to touch on something called the death mask. I've talked about this in previous videos, and when we talk about the death mask, what that means is that the face will get a skeletal-like look. The cheeks will hollow some. The face will look drawn. With the death mask, we will see the mouth being agape a bit more. So the death mask can align with someone who is, yes, on their deathbed, someone who is slowly degrading, where the body is slowly starting to shut down, or the spirit is really under a lot of emotional duress. But there can also be a healthy expression of the death mask. So you don't want to think that a skeletal face or a more chiseled face through the cheekbones is always pathological. It can express in a positive way. But today we're going to talk about the pathological signs. And the way you want to think about face reading is that this is a tool to navigate this crazy adventure we call life. Whatever this is, this simulation. The idea with face reading is, according to the Eastern philosophy, is that there is no greater contact or connection than between human beings. Face-to-face, real-time, analog, spirit-to-spirit connection is where we thrive. It's what we're designed to do. Humans are social creatures, so in reading people's face, this can be a tool to navigate people's health. You can sometimes see a little bit ahead. If you're seeing these metrics, check in with the person. Maybe it's emotional duress, and if you're seeing these signs show up, you also might want to encourage your loved ones to go see a doctor. It's important to use these tools for the benefit of others, not just for self-exploration. It's very good for that, but you also want to think this is a tool to help. And if you can do that, and if you can help, that's a good thing. So, that being said, the things we're looking for, first thing is you're going to see is the coloring of the face. The face, when the life force is low, is going to look a bit more pale. People's complexion is going to get a bit more sallow. It's going to lose its natural coloring. There can be kind of a white or yellow undertone when a person's face, when their life force is starting to degrade. Again, this can come from emotions, stress. It can also come from physical illness. So that's one, the coloring in the face. You want to pay attention to that because the coloring of the face relates to our blood. There's a saying in the East, when the blood is deficient, the mind has no residence, which means when the blood starts to not fill the face, we don't see that rosy complexion, we don't see healthy color. That means the blood is becoming deficient, and as such, the mind and the spirit can't get traction into the blood. So again, when the blood is deficient, the mind has no residence. It has no place to live. So we want to think that coloring is an indicative marker of blood dynamics in the body. Qi and blood are married. Vital energy and blood need each other. They're married as they transport nutrients and energy through the body. The next one is, as I mentioned, the hollow cheeks. When we see the hollowing of the cheeks, this means the person typically is not eating enough. The caloric sustenance, the immune system can also be getting low when the cheeks hollow because the cheeks relate to the immune system and the geography of the lungs. So this is another thing you want to pay attention to. The other one, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, is when the mouth is agape. So in general, when people are breathing through the mouth that consistently, and you're seeing more mouth breathing, this is a sign of life force declining. So you'll see this in people who are very ill. They'll start to breathe through their mouth. They're not breathing through the nose. The breathing is a bit more labored. So these are some of the big metrics that you want to pay attention to. And the last one is the radiance in the eyes. So as I've mentioned in other videos, the articulation and the movement in the eyes, when a person they've got a twinkle in their eyes, that's a good sign. But when the eyes start to look dull and listless and things are just looking heavy and the eyelids sit a bit heavier, these are signs that the spirit and oftentimes the physical body are struggling. So you want to think of these, right? If a person has all four of these, you really need to check in with your loved ones. Ask them, how is their health? How are they feeling physically? That's a big one. The other one is check in emotionally. If they are struggling, if they're going through something, it's a good time to ask. But pay attention to these, because if you're seeing the death mask, again, it doesn't mean imminent death, but what it means is degradation of life force from something, and that's worth considering. So that's all I've got for today. On a personal note, my stepdad, Bob Collins, is battling what appears to be a very aggressive lung cancer, and he is struggling at the moment. Here's a picture of him. He's a good man. His name is Bob Collins, and we call him Bobby. I've always called him Bobby my whole life, but any prayers are welcomed. He's struggling, and he's a damn good man. He could use the prayers, so if you've got it within you, please send some prayers. Thanks.